Yeah. Pull up a chair, kick the dust off your boots. You're right where you belong. From back rows to bright lights, front porch to prime time. Coffee on the table, yeah, we're talking all night. Laugh lines, hard times, stories get told. If you've been there, done that, yeah, you already know. No suits, no scripts, just truth in the room. Different points of view, but we all break through. From the wins to the losses, every scar, every mile. If it's real, bring it here, pull up and sit a while. No filters, no fake, just voices, just faith. Everybody got a seat at the table we made. Welcome to Bubba's Round Table, where the truth hits hard and the laughs stay fatal. Different roads, but we all been able to find our way home when the talk gets real. Yeah, it don't matter where you came from, if you broke or you made one. Pull up close, let the story unfold. This is Bubba's Round Table. Been a long way up, been a long way down. Had my back to the wall, still stood my ground. Real ones around me, yeah, we built this thing. From late night talks to a microphone drain. Opinions fly fast, but respect stays strong. We can disagree and still get along. If you're living that life or you're chasing that flame, got a voice at the table, say it loud, say it plain. No mask, no shade, just real that stays. Every seat full, every word got weight. Welcome to Bubba's Round Table, where the good times roll and the bomb stays stable. From the backwoods nights to the city label, everybody's welcome, yeah, we all stay real. Raise a glass, tell the truth, let it all unfold. This is home for the hearts that are tried and bold. Yeah, this is Bubba's Round Table. We don't need permission, we don't need a name. Just a seed, a voice, and a spark to flame. If you've been unheard, if you've been alone, this table's built strong, yeah, it's carved in stone. Round table. Welcome to Bubba's Round Table, where the stories live on and the truth won't fade, no. Pull that chair close, yeah, you already know. This is family now. Welcome home. Yeah.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Bubba's Round Table. How are y'all doing today? And I am your host, Bubba Mac. Today we got some interesting topics, but before we go and get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, comment, share, and hit the sub button. Make sure them bell notifications on, please, and thank you. That's how we're gonna get this podcast growing. Sorry, guys, I don't have a soundboard to make all them fancy effects. But yeah, guys, we got some interesting topics for today. Loyalty dead in sports. Participation trophies soft or smart. Is trash talk dying in modern sports? What we wish we knew at 18. Mental health of athletes. And a brand new segment we're going to put in. It's called the wrap up. When we wrap up with closing thoughts. And a question for you guys. What would you guys do for yourself? So today I chose the topic of what would you tell your younger self? So that being said, guys, I appreciate all the love and support that you guys shown so far for the episodes and the work that you guys have helped show to grow the channel as best as you guys can. As we say as streamers, we wouldn't be anything without you guys. And it's true. Without an audience, there is no us. So, that being said, guys, I appreciate you very much. And let's dive right on into it. Is loyalty dead in sports? I think so. Whether it's excuse me, guys. Give me a little drinky drink. Whether it's we're talking about college football or the NFL or well, not so much in the NFL, but the NBA especially, MLB and hockey. I don't really know about, but like when you go to a team, right? Especially in college football and the NBA are definitely the two biggest things. Um, you get recruited by a team or you play for a team, and you know you recruit, you get recruited by a team and you play for that team, and then like, oh yeah, I'll be loyal. I'd love to be able to go and take my education serious and play for this team, and then the following year, because you don't get what you want, you're on the bandwagon of hitting the NI or the transfer portal, and then the same thing with LeBron in the NBA, or any big name. I understand the NBA is a business; it's a little bit different story, but it's pretty much the same thing to where you know they you form super teams, and for like the NBA is a little different story because it is a business, and you do get traded, or you don't see the team going in the right direction, and you're like, fuck this, pretty much, and you leave. And I understand that. It does happen, but like when you go and create a super team around you, or only chase teams that actually get titles, that's a big. That's a big thing. Um, NIL definitely changed, and it ruined. I think it ruined college football. The astronomical amount of money that kids are getting paid every year to play a children's game. Same with the pros. Um, do I think they deserve that? No, but that's for a different topic and a different time. I think it's changing it because think about athletes, right? Is most athletes that didn't come for like private institutions that were really good, um, really good with money, or you don't live in a prominent area that has money. A lot of people, I grew up poor, guys. I understand the fight for every paycheck, the the constant need of where's this coming from? How are we gonna pay this bill? I understand it. So a lot, like say if you're just some small athlete, right, that got recruited, and your NIL deal was for say $100,000, you're gonna be like $100,000. I ain't never seen $100,000. It took my mama about 10 years to go and get $100,000 or whatever it may be to go and put food and everything on the table, and your college is already paid for. So like, I understand to some kids it is pretty much chasing a bag. Um, I mean, it happens to a lot of them. I understand it. Um, as a person that hasn't seen that much money in their lifetime, uh, per se, I understand that also. It is. it is a big thing to be able to not have to worry um where that comes from. So like they also want to help out, family and stuff like that, but no college player should be getting paid millions of dollars. I think the cutoff for that should be about $1 million if you went to that school the whole year. And I don't even think you guys should, or the athletes should be getting that. So I think that ruins loyalty to teams. Baseball's a little different, it's differently because of if you're not the best player, and you want to get traded, it understands. I understand that process. Same with hockey. Um, to get more playing time, a lot of teams are loyal that just stay there that are, football second string or, the third line that goes in for hockey or you're a relief pitcher or you're the bullpen, you're always 12th or 7th at bat. I mean, it all depends. If you're not the big name on a team, then, I understand that some people want to go and leave. But you're people that you wouldn't expect to leave. And we're like, well, we're loyal. Like, same thing for us Detroit Lions fans. Matt Stafford leaving in a trade to go to LA. And then within 2 years, he wins the Super Bowl. You know, some Lions fans hate him. And some, you know, are, you know, accepted or have accepted that he put a lot on the line for Detroit and never got anything around it. And when Calvin retired, I think it was a big thing for his loyalty. Um, Tom Brady and the Belichick. They were like this for 20 years. And then, boom. I think Belichick didn't want to give up some power. And Brady wanted to leave, so he went to Tampa and boom. But yeah, I think loyalty is on a dying slope for sports. Participation trophy, soft or smart? It is soft. Um, I mean, it's I've gotten them, and when I was real young in youth football, um, I don't believe that they're good for kids because if you participate, you get some award, and that's just not right, in my opinion. Um, it teaches kids not to put in the work, not to put in the effort to um, better hone their skills, better hone everything that they're trying to do for their sport. And I mean, pretty much teaches kids nowadays that even if you don't put in the effort, you're still going to get rewarded. And that's not how the world works. Um, I personally think that they're soft. I don't think any trophies should be awarded to anybody unless they are for individual accolades, team accolades. Um, but before you're the age of 14, I don't think you should be getting a participation trophy. Um, maybe if like you're in middle school sports for the school itself, maybe you should be going getting some award, but um, I would not say that you should be receiving a participation trophy. And yeah, I don't think it's good. Trash talk dying in sports? It is. You don't see people cutting promos the way you did in the UFC. You don't see, or you don't really hear about, another dude smashing another dude apart in football or the NBA. Are you gonna just shoot threes in someone's eye or, posterize somebody? Um, you also don't really see too, I guess like the best promos that have been cut is in boxing, but um boxing's kind of it's a highly recruited or a highly watched sport, but like since UFC came out, it's not really much. But um unless it's just like Jake Paul fight. But even if so, the promos that are cut, the build up for fights, it's just not there. And you can tell. Um, there's nothing that compares to when Conor McGregor fought Floyd. You can't even fucking read. Read, read me 3 lines right here in any book, and I'll pay you 150,000. There's nothing like that. Or yeah, Khabib and McGregor. I'm going to smash your guy. I'm going to smash your guy. There's nothing. There's no build up. There's no animosity. There's no, John Jones DC fight. There's just no. It's not a build up, and it sucks because Conor McGregor made his name known for trash talking, and he trash talked with the best of them. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. I wrestle with an alligator. I tussle with a whale. Handcuff lightning, throw thunder in jail. So fast, I hit the light switch off before the room went dark. I was already in my bed. I'm so mean, I made medicine sick. That's trash talk you just don't hear no more. And then, like, it kind of ruins. I shouldn't say it kind of ruins sports. It makes the sports just like bleh. Especially when you don't have a solid build up to the fight, or it's not a main card, or you know you got an opposer that is up and coming, and then there's another one that is the champ, or the seasoned vet, and the seasoned vet's like, okay, dude, yeah, I know I can beat you, type ordeal. But no, I think trash talk is definitely on a downward slope also, just because it's just something you don't see and hear every day. um between basketball players or football players. And I don't know if it's because the world is starting to become softer, or people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, or whatever it may be. Or you're just seeing the best of them that were the best of the best, finally slow down. And they're starting to get old and retire. It happens. It happens to, every sport, and it sucks. But, I think it's definitely something that's going to be coming with change. But no, I think the trash talk in sports um, is definitely on a downward spiral. What we knew at 18, I wish I knew how to balance a checkbook, knew how to budget, uh, knew that everything's expensive. Knew that certain things are different, politician wise. Um, how to do your taxes properly instead of paying somebody. All kinds of different things. Um, it's better to go into a trade than anything else. Um, them friends that you used to have way back when, you really don't talk to many of them. And then after a certain while, you only talk to a few. Um, they gotta have credit, and good credit. You know, the world evolved around credit. Um, get into crypto. Get into investing in Netflix. You know, the big booms that happen. Um, invest in Tesla. You know, you could be a digital millionaire and not even know it if you went back. For me, it'd be 11 years now. Look where Netflix is at. Billion-dollar company. Look where, you know, uh, Bitcoin went. Just the big blow ups. Teslas. Um, it's definitely a different ballgame now than when we were way back there and when I was 18, let alone our parents and grandparents. Um, everything's different. Um, studied harder, went to a trade school, stuff like that. Mental health and athletes, I think that's a big thing. Um, mental health in general is a big thing, guys. That you sit here, and even if it's day to day life, um, but athletes for sure, because you got to think about it. Baseball, for instance, is 162 games a year. And then I think it's basketball, hockey, and or it's baseball, NHL, hockey, basketball, hockey, and football. Yeah, I mean, the games and amount of road you're on the road, and the fatigue of training and or fighting. If you're a fighter, you're away from your family for so long in a camp. You don't get to see your kids, if you have them. Trying to balance in all of the your taxes and everything like that. That just day-to-day life, but also too the performance wise. You guys got to think about it. Look at Tua Viola. Guys had two or three major concussions. You got to think about his head and how everything's affected. Um, you make one wrong move and you break a leg, or Damar Hamlin, and he went into cardiac arrest playing football. That's definitely an opposing doom that comes on top of you and messes with your head. For me, it would have been hurting somebody, because if I depending on the verity of how severe it was, it can mess with you. I remember when I was in high school, I was a freshman in high school, and I was wrestling, and I picked a kid up and I slammed him and I snapped his arm, his elbow right here, playing at his arm like this, and his elbow dislocated out this way. So his arm was like this, wow, like this, but backwards. So his elbow joint was here, and this part of his arm was over here. And it messed me up. I went on to lose my last couple of matches. And, and it is a big thing, because if you're not prepared for it, it can mentally mess you up. Or, you see a real good teammate, have a career ending injury, or, um, it can shift tides too on either on opposing teams, or living up to, or even having everybody have their hand out and always asking for help, asking for money, and then you got to think, or are you with your family because of the money, or are you helping out, because you think you should, or once the money dries up, what's going to happen to family then? You know, are people just to ride your coattails and get a paycheck from you? Hey, yo, Steve, you come, hey, man, can I get like 10 grand for what? You got to think about travel, expenses. There's a whole bunch of different things. A financial advisor, you know, being lucrative with your money too. At the same time, when you are in that position, and that including, making sure everyone's gotten health insurance at home, or, it is just a big deal for athletes and mental health, performance wise, the joy of playing the game, looking at how stressful, like college athletes, you know, stress between going to college and playing football, and making sure, if you're going to pass the class or not, or um, trying to make sure you're performing, and thinking how good of an athlete you are when you first came in, and all that pressure, that's a big thing. Um, but it's just like everybody, but I think mental health is something that doesn't get looked at with athletes, because we think athletes are these God-given superhumans, you know, and it can be stressful because, like I said, for baseball and hockey, baseball knows 162 games. Out of them 162 games, how many games are you on the road? How long are you going to be able to perform at that high of play? Um, you got games that are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday sometimes in the series, or playing back to back to back to back, and trying to take care of your body. And there's a lot more into it, guys, and it does make for a rough deal to try to comprehend and understand, um, for athletes, even though everyone else has their same mental health deals. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna hit the wrap up section, chat. Nice chat. um, what would you tell your younger self? Now, I could do at any age, but I'm gonna set a president at 10. Well, I'll say 12. Just say 12. Um, for me, at 12, guys, I was 11 to going on to 12. I had a big figure in my life pass away, and be my grandfather. And I always wanted to make sure he was proud, and he always told me, do good in school, quit getting so big, blah 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 blah, play your butt off to the whistle, enjoy practice, because I played football at a very young age. um but you know I tell him, study harder, train more, don't eat as much. um you know you gotta study. don't don't stay up late playing video games every night, or you know count the time that you got with grandpa or any loved ones, because when I turned a sophomore in high school, I lost another grandparent, and she was my great grandma, and it was definitely sucked. But you know, definitely stay young, study more, play hard, and work harder. Um, and take care of your body. Don't eat as much. Yeah, it's cool and whatnot, but unless you have to, then that's the only way you should. But spend as much time as you can up north. Spend as much time as you can with, family. It makes a world of a difference. It does. I look back now and shit, I just go back to 18. Finish college. But that is I wish I coulda, woulda, dida type deal. And it sucks, but I know what we can do about it now. Other than just change our lives from the going forward. Protect that inner child, though, guys, because sometimes you might need them. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna wrap up the episode. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure, guys, you tell somebody you love them. Also, make sure you hit the like, sub, share, comment. Anything helps to grow the channel. That being said, guys, much love to every single one of you. Thank you for your continuous support. Until next time, much love, and we'll see you in the next one.